Welcome. This is WellnessByAllMeans Forum. We are talking to a friend of mine. His name is DVS Rao. He is a principal of a very reputed public school in India, in Varanasi. And he has been a mathematics teacher for many decades, at least more than 2 decades, in senior secondary and secondary levels of schools, top schools in India. Conducted several workshops for mathematics teachers, ex-principals of DPS Jeddah in KSA, ex-principal of Bhavan's Modern International School Oman in Muscat, and currently principal of a reputed group CBSE school in Varanasi. Also an adjunct to northern region of NTPC schools. So he has accumulated a lot of experience from Kaaba to Kashi. So welcome, DVS. How are you?
Thank you. Very nice to talk to you.
It's a great opportunity for me because my friends it has a great background because we were classmates in our intermediate time. We reconnected after many decades, at least 4 decades.
Almost 4 decades. Yeah.
Right.
Almost.
Right. So he just invited recently to one of his school's function as a graduation ceremony, and I was so delighted to talk to all the wonderful students in India. So, and he has been teaching, of course, and also administering different schools. So it's a very unique opportunity for us to understand, from what his viewpoints are there for making success in life. So welcome back.
I believe in keeping things very simple, and ever since we are born, and we behave in a particular manner, the kind of upbringing and all. Okay. Our mannerisms cannot change all of a sudden, okay? Mm-hmm. All of a sudden, I cannot behave in a totally different way, okay? The way I accomplish my simple tasks in day-to-day life, my approach to the greater things in my life, like ambitions and everything, will also be in the similar lines. It cannot be so drastically different, okay? So that's how it is, and I just want to put it in very simple words, okay? If I give you a long text, and it may be difficult for somebody to remember of what I have told, or what a child has to follow, or what a person has to follow. And basically I put it in 2 broad areas. One is priorities, because if we have any task to accomplish, we should know where to begin with, and we should know how to go about it, and when to go about it. Okay. Most of the time we falter because we don't know the priorities, where to start, which one to start first. Okay. Second one is progress check. Progress check means how far I have gone and how far I have to go. So these 2 things are very important. So if I know my priorities well, then I'm not wasting much of a time. Okay. I'm keeping proper track of time. I'm not losing time. That's very important. Second thing is progress check. How far I have gone, how much I have accomplished, and what is the leftover task. And let me tell you, all of us think the amount of work I have completed. But I tell everyone to think how much of work is left to be done. Okay, that's the best way to do it, because whatever you have done, you have already done. What you have not done, you just have to keep a check on it. Then you keep on doing it and you complete all your work. In the basic normal routine of work, let it be any job, small or big, I always see that what is the amount of work that is left over to do. Because whatever is done is already done. Whether it is done properly or not, we can have a take on it, how to get it, do it in a better way later on. But the work is done. Okay, what is left, let us keep a check on it. Then there is nothing that is left, and you complete all your work. That's the thing.
Like the old, the popular English poem, like the woods are lovely, dark and deep, like miles to go ahead before you sleep.
Yes.
Be aware of what is the amount of work that is left. But doesn't it cause stress in you? When you think about the amount of work that is left, rather you celebrate the amount of work that you have already done. So a lot of people also juggle bit so they see oh, okay, this much I have done, let me celebrate, and then also I'll be excited to complete the remaining task. How do you really give a finishing?
Yes, celebration also comes during the course of time. Okay, that's always a part of it. See, right. when we are both of us talking, we are talking about a particular situation which is going to happen sometime. Okay, but it's actually not like that. When we are living a situation, so many things are happening simultaneously. right?
Sure.
Okay, so we are definitely we accomplish a task. It gave me happiness, so I'm done. Okay, so if if a similar situation comes later on, I will know how to make it better. Okay, so that part is over. But my goal is to complete a particular work. It has got to get over. Okay,
Right.
till then my work is not complete. Okay,
So
so
I
I
think
just
that is
have.
very, very important, because a lot of times, like, we start things, but we don't really complete it. So having that finishing grace, like, that is one of the most important thing. All is well that ends well. So
Yeah,
if you
only that. No, no. And
they give
basically,
a closure to everything, then it remains half-hazard and then half-baked. So that is not
yeah.
good.
Yes, even the way you dress up for to go to office, okay. Even if you have forgotten to wear your watch, or even if you have forgotten to take your specs, okay, it's still something is missing, and you just keep looking for something that you have missed out, okay. So it has to be complete. It's a very, very simple example, but life situations are not that simple. We need to, therefore, if we look into all this, completeness is very important, right? Okay.
Right.
So.
So since you have already dealt with so many students all your life, like 4-5 decades of life or whatever, at least 3 to 4 decades that you have been teaching, and amidst the students community. So what have you seen in the recent times? Like, what are the root causes of stress for the students?
See, I believe in childhood. See, I have attended several workshops also by eminent psychologists and all.
Sure.
Okay, there are many things we do learn from people. Okay, there are many things that we know from our experiences, and there are some very good things which are being told by different psychologists at different point of time. Okay, so there is nothing wrong in learning from somebody, and if somebody has told us something good, let us propagate it. Okay, that is always useful. One interesting thing he said that the attitude towards life of an individual is almost decided, okay, at the age of 8. That means the future course of life of an individual depends upon what a child has grown or developed to be at the age of 8. Okay. Initially, when I thought it was shocking for me, but then he was telling with absolute confidence and research. Okay. So that's where I thought that I had to believe in it, and it's really true. But let us also look into what an 8-year child needs. Okay, an 8-year child needs love, affection, care from parents. That is the physiological and emotional needs of the child is taken care.
Right.
And second one is there is not so much of stress. Okay, it's only about basic little bit of study and a lot of play. Okay, the child has to play. Okay, so play means what? It's psychomotor skills, interpersonal skills, and some social skills that he learns.
Right.
Okay. And next one is he learns to communicate. See, Malayalam, if anybody says that, is a very tough language to learn. Okay, but then there are a big community of people who speak Malayalam. Even if it's a very difficult language, but the child has learned it from his parents, so it is very easy for him. Okay, so there is nothing that is difficult in terms of learning a language or to communicate. Even the body language is the language speaks a lot. Okay, next comes the culture. Culture is automatic. Okay, if I'm living in a community in US, I'll be behaving like one, and if I'm in India, I'll be following this culture and also it comes out automatically from the family or from the immediate environment. So the basic things which are required for a person to live has already been formed at the age of 8. Okay, later on it gets built on it. Okay, or it becomes a magnifying kind of thing, but it's not so different. Okay, so moreover, if you see most of the, I've been reading so many books in psychologists and all, most of the disorders which the people develop in the later part of their life is much connected to the experiences of the childhood and how the childhood has been. So I always tell my parents when I speak to them in official meetings and all, no matter how busy you are, having bought a individual on earth, okay, it becomes a very important for us to look after them. Okay, so the childhood is very, very important, and if it is having some very good experiences and all, they develop reciprocate everything. Okay, so if they have got love, affection, care, social support, emotional support, everything they have got at an early age, then they are really very happy, and they contribute in a totally different way.
Because that's so true from the psychological point of view, even from the yoga point of view, because we all believe that there is a conscious mind, there is always a subconscious mind, and subconscious mind 90% of the time affects the conscious mind. So for subconscious mind, which is presently in the childhood time, like before 8, mostly the kids are using their subconscious mind. So during that certain stage of growth, so if they have got a lot of positive upbringing, a lot of positive values, definitely that first impression lasts long. Like, of course, like that has been strongly corroborated by the psychologists all over the world. That makes profound sense of how much responsibility that we as parents need to spend time with children. Even in our yoga system, we call Garbha Samskar. Even before the child is born, even that initial stage of the fetus getting born in the tummy, that is also another first stage of like how children get educated.
Yes, even for that, man, we have in our epics also think about Abhimanyu.
Abhimanyu, exactly. Yeah. So those initial stages, that's why yoga divides the whole life scale into 12 major stages, starting with Garbhavastha, starting with the womb stage, and then Balyavastha, Kaisaravastha. Balyavastha, as you are talking about the below 8, is very, very important part, because after that, they'll get subjected to many different challenges of life. The first decade of life is very important to nurture their personality, character, and all these things, right? So how do you, so do you think that parents are getting more sensitized towards that? Because there are a lot of competition everywhere, not only in India, like everywhere you see like now parents are like more than peer pressure, parental pressure is also there. I call it hyper parenting most of the time.
It's actually parenting. And here what I say is sometimes, parents also what they have could not do in their lives, they also thrust upon improve on the children. Okay. So not everybody does that. There are a lot of people who are sensible. And moreover, if you look at the other things, the family size has become very small. It has become very nuclear. Okay. Once somebody is well off, they dissociate themselves from the family. And there are many things that they do not get. See, in our time, or if you go a few decades back, the family size used to be big. Here I would like to take your example. You have 5 sisters, and you have parents and everybody. You got all the social support, you got all the emotional support, you got all the parents support. There was no television, there was no cell phone. Okay. And on top of it, you got a neighbor who knew yoga, and that's where you developed the inclination towards yoga. And now, despite being very successful in academically and being a scientist and a software engineer and settled in US, you had the inclination to do something to the society, and that you termed it as well-being. That well-being has only come only because of those well-being things that you have seen in your life, and you have made a very strong impact in your mind that you can really do something for others. Okay. The thing to do something for the others has developed so strong within you. It was only because what you have got at a very early age. If I think
yes, very, very right. Because I remember my dad. We had a lot of these, parrots in the house. My dad was very fond of the small the birds and animals in the house. So he used to teach the spiritual discourse, like get up early in the morning, do your work. So some of this basic moral education, he will teach the parrots, and the parrots will keep telling them all over the day. So that was also going in our subconscious mind growing up. Like, I think definitely the samskaras that we as parents put to our children is very, very important. I think that's very profound. Let me ask you one more question, like now, because you have been in Varanasi right now. Varanasi and Kashi are one of the most spiritual pilgrimages in India. So there are a lot of spirituality. Banaras Hindu University is one of the epitome of spiritual education and the Hindu studies. So how do you say, like, are the children or the ambience is more spiritual there?
It's not necessary being in a spiritual world, you will be spiritual. Okay, I tell you this because, I have not been in Kashi or Banaras. But it was always in the back of mind, being in Kashi would be very nice, because I had a bit of spiritual inclination. Moreover, if I also believe a bit in astrology. I don't have such sound knowledge about all those things. The Brihaspati and the arrangement of different graphs in my this
Different
one.
houses.
It says that I'll be very much inclined towards spiritual. Okay?
Okay.
So I'll give a lot of importance to that. So and that is very much true also. So when I got an offer from Varanasi, in fact, in the year of 2011, we go once in a year. We offer Pitru this one Tarpan. We do it in different places. So we did it in Kashi. So I went to Kashi temple and told, why don't you make me a principal in Kashi? I will stay here and just do whatever best thing that is possible. And it really worked out well. And by then I was in Saudi Arabia. Therefore, I always say that I'm Kaaba to Kashi.
Right. That's very cool.
So then from Saudi Arabia, I was in Oman also for some time. And then I got an offer from Varanasi because the head of the schools know that I have experience of starting new schools and also. When I got a job here, I came here and I started and it goes on well. And I also have a annual session of Sanskrit Sangoshti, that is Sanskrit seminar, which I conduct. The singing of different shlokas or a small act play in Sanskrit and all these things I do. It's an annual event and I do it every year without many days, and many schools also participate. That was basically my inclination to be in this place and my inclination towards all this spiritual line. Of course, I'm not so well versed with them. I'm not well versed. I don't remember so many shlokas and all. But then I read them. I try to understand them. I try to like this ambience. Okay. Even if it is very cold in winters, in month of January and all, I go early in the morning, around before 6 o'clock, take a dip in the Ganges, and there is a temple. Okay, where I do the Jalabhisheka and all. It is throughout there and everybody in this place know. In fact, more than being a principal, the surrounding areas, temples, people and know. If I want to meet that person, I can go to this temple at that particular time. That kind of a thing I have. And the people here are very relaxed, and you see, if you are born in Kashi, then you don't think that you are born in such a great place, it's like that.
Yeah, and it's always taken for granted. Also, if you look at the lamp, I always give this example. Sometimes, the bottom of the lamp is always dark, even though it gives light everywhere. The bottom of the lamp always becomes dark. Dipotala andhara, we call it Oriya, Dipotala andhara. So it also means sometimes even if you are born in a place, we don't see the value of that. Sometimes it's just like a fish inside the water, and if you ask where is the water, it's like that. So and that's great. I think having you said that we're just closer to our time. I would love to have some virtual pilgrimage with you, because when you go to those temples early in the morning, we like to have a video of those, and then we talk about inside those premises, and that will be giving a good connection to people who are here to see how things are there in India. And that's great. So any parting thoughts or anything that you would like to say to particularly the children over here or to the world, what they should do? Because I always believe in having a good childhood dream, because childhood dream also shapes up your personality, and having a strong faith that what Swami Vivekananda told, we are all Amrutasya Santana. No matter how much of different difficulties that we might be going through in our childhood time, but having that grounding principle of self-confidence, self-faith, self-awareness that we are the divine children of the universe. We have been vested with so much of, positive things. So if you believe in those, probably we can overcome the problems, adversities in a positive way, and overcome all the difficulties towards more success.
Yeah. The last thing, the takeaway thing which I would like to tell is to communicate verbally. Okay. See, the world has become so much into virtual, and they chat. And if you remember, once in a while, when you're away, your parents must have told you, hey, just give a call sometime. I just want to hear your voice. See, voice means a lot. Okay. See, just it instantly conveys so many feelings, emotions, and everything. Okay. So that has to be there. Because in a virtual world we are always silent, we are not communicating verbally. Okay, maybe we are communicating to text and all these kinds of things. We don't communicate verbally. Now at this point of time I may be saying something and it may not have so much serious note taken seriously, but then let me tell you, in due course of time, when you interact with people, you'll definitely realize that to communicate verbally with people is so important, that I should talk to my parents, I should talk to my somebody who is married, let me be a wife or children or any friend or anybody. I should make it a habit to communicate with people so that I'm open with my views, and so that people listen to me and know me also. Because verbal tests do not communicate many things about you. People may be seeing you, people may not be seeing you. I may be chatting with the video on, I may be chatting without the video on. Okay, you may not be seeing, but you'll be hearing my voice. Okay,
Right.
that's important. We need to communicate verbally with people, and that will go a long way for the well-being of everybody.
I think that's really good to summarize like what you have told today. Like we have to be simple so that people can comprehend you better. You have to be setting the priorities right, and you have to always check your progress. Like plan, develop, check, and act. Just like the principle of constant monitoring. That is very much important. And lastly, you talked about communicate well, and also to the parents. Like you must spend some time, because that's a responsibility that we have got in life individual to this planet, and that's a responsibility to spend enough time in the early stage of their life, preferably.
Very important. Very important. In fact, if you can see the Indian mother, they resign their job and stay at home. There at a point of time we used to make fun of it. But now at this world, when it has become so digital and all, we understand the importance and the sacrifice the mother has done for the child.
That's very good. Thank you, DVS. Thank you for coming and spending time with our friends. So that's great. So we look forward to talk to you again. And then again, as I said, like a virtual pilgrimage. So whenever you go to the temple, please do some shooting for us, and then we'll relate to all our friends all over the world. Thank you very much. Have a wonderful time, and see you again. Thank you. Namaskar. Bye.